Okay, I know, we're still months away from the likely Galaxy S30 launch window, but already there are some pretty tasty leaks out there that deserve some investigation. So let's jump in and take a look at how Samsung's next 3 flagship phones might shape up, and how it could either mean the end of the Galaxy Note, or a triumphant rebirth for that brand. Take a sec to subscribe to Android Central here on YouTube for coverage of phones coming soon like the Pixel 5 and OnePlus 8T, and we'll get started. So the big central rumour we're talking about comes from Twitter leaker Wang MH01, who most recently outed the design of the Galaxy Z Fold 2 weeks ahead of its launch. Today he brings us the codename of the Galaxy S30 project, Unbound, along with internal model numbers for the phones themselves, and most tantalisingly of all, claims that the Ultra model in the series will have an S Pen. Yep, that's the same S Pen that's come to define the Galaxy Note series over the past 9 years. And that S Pen thing has been echoed by reports in the Korean press over the past couple days. So what does that mean? Well, we're likely looking at a pretty big reimagining of Samsung's flagship devices. One possibility, and heads up, I think this is the least likely option, is that Samsung simply shutters the Galaxy Note line and replaces it with a single S30 Ultra featuring the S Pen. It's also possible that an S30 Ultra will ship with an S Pen and that Samsung will still ship a separate Galaxy Note device later in 2021, though I think this is also pretty unlikely. For my money though, there is a much more likely possibility. Looking at all 3 of the devices detailed here, I think we'll probably see them launched as a Galaxy S30, Galaxy S30 Plus, and a Galaxy Note 30. So that the O3 device here in this leak will essentially see Samsung merging the S Ultra and Note Ultra devices into a single top-tier flagship phone. And this move, if it happens, has been a very long time coming. The case for the Note has been increasingly tenuous ever since we started seeing big-screened Plus-branded Galaxy S devices in 2017. Besides the S Pen, Samsung kinda had to scramble over minor technical upgrades to make the Note seem worthwhile over its other line of expensive premium big-screen phones. And with the last generation of Samsung devices, the S20 Ultra and Note 20 Ultra, the internal conflict between the Galaxy S and Galaxy Note lines has been more evident than ever. And the messaging is pretty confusing around which device sits at the top of the Samsung food chain. Samsung says the S20 Ultra is still its top camera phone, with a longer telephoto zoom, though the Note shares that same 108MP sensor with improved autofocus. The fact that there's another tier now of Galaxy S phones beyond the Plus model makes it really difficult to make the case for a Note, which was also defined by its big screen, just also with an S Pen. Rather than continuing to push out 2 very similar lines of Ultra phones year after year, it makes more sense to streamline things and instead have 3 phones each with a very clearly defined purpose. So to break it down, first the Galaxy S30 is the phone for people who want a small flagship. And second, the Galaxy S30 Plus is for people who want that same flagship experience just with a bigger screen. This is your mainstream flagship that most people end up going for. I mean, there's a reason we continue to recommend the S20 Plus for most people over Samsung's Ultra devices. So then there's this third category of device, the Galaxy Note 30 or S30 Ultra or whatever it's going to be called. This is for power users, with the S Pen, a gigantic screen, gigantic battery, and probably also a gigantic price tag. There's a significant crossover between people who'd buy an S20 Ultra and a Note 20 Ultra, so this should be the successor device for both groups of people. And that would see the Note not really going away, just changing to kind of become part of and launch alongside the Galaxy S. If you're Samsung, you're certainly not going to completely abandon the Note brand, which is loved by the company's most ferociously loyal fans. It's a big part of why I think it'll be Note 30 for this top-tier phone and not S30 Ultra. The Note is just a more long-standing and more valuable brand for this kind of device. A new single super high-end phone would have the best of both previous worlds. The crazy optics and zoom capabilities of the S20 Ultra alongside the S Pen features that Note fans expect. So instead of the Note line being shuttered, it'd just reassert itself as the top-tier non-foldable Samsung phone. Speaking of foldables, I'd expect to see the traditional August-September release cycle rejigged to focus on folding handsets, which we already kinda saw this year with the arrival of the Galaxy Z Flip 5G and Galaxy Z Fold 2. If you're a big spending power user, the kind of person for whom even the Note is too mainstream and conservative, then future folds will become your power user phone. For everyone else, it'll be this newly reimagined Note. As for what else to expect from the Galaxy S30 or Note 30 series, we have a few morsels of information from leaks in recent months. Component leaks point to the S30 Plus, the middle model of the trio, featuring around a 4800mAh battery, which is a nice bump up from the 4500mAh of the S20 Plus. The 108 megapixel resolution of the S20 Ultra's camera looks set to continue in the higher end model, though in a new and improved model of Samsung's ISOCELL sensor. And according to a leak detailed by Sam Mobile back in April, the company is also considering an optically stabilized selfie camera for some S30 models using a 48 megapixel sensor. Obviously, it's still very early days here, so stay tuned and subscribe to Android Central here on YouTube for more Galaxy S30, S21, Note 30, whatever they end up calling these things. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.